There's been much has been said today, and first of all, I just hope that for the families of those who lost their loved ones and for the survivors, that the state apology and the words spoken here today can do something to provide the solace, the truth and the justice that you have very, very long deserved and that you have fought for. I'm very conscious really that I'm not qualified to know or understand the pain, the loss, the injustice, the trauma, the hardship that you have endured as a result of the loss of your loved ones and the obstacles that have been put in your way for 43 years in trying to get the truth and justice that you deserve. And I can only say what I know that some of you feel, and I suspect all of you feel, that it is deplorable and shameful that it has taken 43 years to get to this moment. And it is only because of your courage, your bravery, your determination, and your ceaseless campaigning that finally a political system that has failed you, that successive governments who have failed you have been forced finally to give you some degree of the vindication and the acknowledgement that you have so long deserved. And also because of the public support that you have got from so many people when the political system and when successive governments failed you. So many ordinary people stood with you and supported your ceaseless campaign for justice. And I know from talking to some of the families that there is great sadness today that some of those who fought over all of these years are not here to see this moment of acknowledgement and of truth and the apology that we have seen from the government. I don't know all of them, but certainly I've met some of them over the years that I have encountered the families and their campaign. People like Eugene Barrett and Christine, obviously, or I received from Mark Fraser, the brother of Thelma Fraser, an email today just referring to their father Arthur. And I thought I should read. I know that at the inquest, the pen portraits were a very, very important opportunity for the families to remind people of the terrible human, individual, family loss that you all suffered, of the futures snatched away, of the impact over generations that this tragedy, this loss, and this great injustice has had on all of your families. But Mark sent me an email and asked to just reference it. But I know the sentiments in this can probably are expressed and felt for all of the families. But I thought I'd just read of something of what he said. My sister Thelma Fraser, the eldest of 9 children, went to the Stardust with her boyfriend Michael Farrell and were unlawfully killed. They never came home. Thelma was small in stature with a big heart who loved and cared for the younger siblings when Mam took part-time evening work. Thelma volunteered with the Order of Malta as a cadet leader. It was 3 agonising days before Thelma was identified through dental records and jewellery. This was devastating for our close family, especially our parents. They were left heartbroken. Our neighbours and friends in Bath Avenue, Sandymount were really great, kind and supportive. Both my parents died in their mid-50s within 10 years of the fire from the stress and strain of dealing with the aftermath of the fire. My father Arthur made it his sole focus in life to get to the truth of the fire and what happened on that night. He was devastated when the Keene Tribunal said it was probable arson, despite the Gardaí saying there was no evidence of arson. This tarnished all the victims of the fire. We have waited 43 years, despite every agency of the state placing hurdles in front of us to prevent us from obtaining the truth. During the recent inquest, we heard evidence which was difficult to listen to at times from survivors and emergency services. I don't have time to read it all, but I'll just read the last paragraph where he says, "My sister Thelma deserved a long life with Michael. My parents deserved to grow old to see grandchildren. My brothers and sisters deserved comfort and reassurance from our family, but were denied because of the greed of a rich and powerful family." And I'm sure that account speaks for not just the Fraser family, but for many, many of the families. And I hope today is the beginning of the truth, because it's certainly, I think, not the end. An apology is not enough. There has to be true justice and true accountability for those that frustrated your fight for truth and for justice for your loved ones. The state has to explain and own up to its own responsibility in all of this. How could there have been reports, now that we know the truth, and the families always knew the truth, how could there have been reports that blamed the victims and put that stigma and that tarnishing of their reputations, that sent a message, we don't believe you, we don't care, and blame those who were the victims of this terrible injustice? How could it be when, in the small part I played in this, when Antoinette and the campaigners compiled the evidence, new evidence, in 2016, 2017, and I remember walking across this chamber handing the evidence they had provided to the then Minister of Justice, where they were seeking the Commission of Investigation, and they were ignored, and that was dismissed. And it took further campaigning by the families. I remember standing out on the streets with the cards, the postcards, handing them out, getting the public who signed them in their thousands and thousands to ask for the inquest that was finally granted. How is it that the only person who was ever persecuted following the unlawful killing of 48 young people in the Stardust fire was Christy Moore, the singer, who wrote a song about the truth? How is it that the owner of the Stardust received €500,000 in compensation, whereas the families suffered 43 years of the struggle, the tarnishing of their reputations, of being implied that they were lying, and all the impacts, terrible impacts that they felt, and the loss that they had suffered, that they had to fight for this moment. So I just want to commend you This is your day. We're only here because of what you have done in your ceaseless fight for justice, because of the love you had for your family members who lost their lives, but were killed, as we now know. Killed because, as Mark Fraser said, because of the greed of a rich and powerful family and the failure of the state to provide its resources to get to the truth, but to ignore and dismiss your struggle for justice for 43 years. But this is your day, and I hope this is the beginning. And all I will say to the government is, this must be led by the families. What follows from here must be led by the families. Only they know what truth and justice means, and to provide that for their loved ones and those who survived this terrible tragedy and injustice.
Deputy Paul Murphy.